The resistance grew quietly over the next month. It started with just Allison and Kate, but soon included women from all walks of life. Scientists, soldiers, doctors, teachers, all of them had seen the changes in the men around them. All of them were worried. They met in small groups, never in the same place twice. They shared information through encrypted channels. They called themselves the Vigilant. Today they gathered in the basement of an old bookstore. 20 women sat in a circle, while Allison stood at a whiteboard covered with notes and pictures. "Let's review what we know," she said. "The Luminari arrived 6 months ago. They established embassies in 32 cities worldwide. They've made contact with every major government offering technology and knowledge. And taking plenty in return," added Kate from her seat. Allison nodded. "Their influence affects men more strongly than women. Men who have close contact with Luminari females become devoted to them. They forget their families, their duties. They share secrets." Woman named Paige Wilson raised her hand. She was a neurologist who had been studying the affected men. "I've made some progress understanding how it works," she said. "The Luminari emit a specific frequency that affects the pleasure centers of the brain. It's like an addiction. The more you look, the more you want to look until you can't look away." "Can it be blocked?" someone asked. "Maybe," Paige replied. "I've been working on a neural shield. It's not perfect, but it might offer some protection." Allison turned to a woman in military uniform. "Maya, what's happening with the Joint Defense Initiative?" Major Maya Foster grimaced. "It's worse than we thought. The Luminari now have access to our satellite networks, missile defense systems, and communications grid. General Wright is trying to slow things down, but she's being blocked at every turn." "By who?" "By men who've had contact with the Luminari." Maya looked around the room. "Has anyone else noticed that it's mostly men making these decisions? That women are being pushed out of key positions?" Many heads nodded. "What about Dr. Martinez?" asked a young scientist. "Have you learned anything from her condition?" Allison sighed. "Lily isn't different. Sometimes she's herself, sometimes she's not. We've been recording her episodes, trying to make sense of what she says." She pinned several pages of strange symbols to the board. "These are from Lily. We think they're star coordinates, but they don't match any known system." Kate stood up and walked to the board. "We need to understand what happened to Lily when she touched Zaravex. The commander said it was an information transfer." "What information? And why did it hurt Lily but not affect the Luminari?" Paige spoke up again. "From my research, I believe the Luminari can control the flow of information. When Lily touched Zaravex, she received a massive data dump, too much for her brain to process. But when a Luminari touches a human, they can regulate what they take." "And what are they taking?" Allison asked. "I'm not sure," Paige admitted. "But based on brain scans of affected men, they seem to be accessing memory centers and emotional processing regions." A woman named Olivia, who worked as a secretary at the Luminari embassy in Chicago, raised her hand. "I've noticed something strange. The men who disappear for those 3 days, they all come back with a small scar at the base of their skull. It's usually hidden by their hair." The room went quiet. "Implants?" Kate suggested. "Possibly," Paige said, "but we'd need to examine one to be sure." "That won't be easy," Maya pointed out. "These men are fanatically loyal to the Luminari now. They won't volunteer for any examination." Allison thought for a moment. "What about the neural shield? Could we use it to break their influence on someone?" Paige shook her head. "It might prevent new conditioning, but it won't undo what's already been done." "Then we need someone who's just starting to fall under their influence," Kate said. "Someone who hasn't been fully converted yet." The women looked at each other. They all knew men who were changing, but asking them to become test subjects would be risky. "I might know someone," Olivia said hesitantly. "My brother Andy. He started working at the embassy last month as a tech support guy. He's been acting strange lately, distracted, forgetful, but he still talks to me. He trusts me." "Would he agree to be examined?" Paige asked. "I don't know, but I can try." Allison nodded. Be careful. Don't push too hard. The meeting continued as they shared more observations and theories. Meanwhile, across town, Commander Jack Reeves sat in a crystal room within the main Luminari embassy. Once, he had been a decorated pilot. Now he served as humanity's primary liaison with the aliens. Zaravek stood by the window, her blue skin catching the light. The resistance is growing, she said without turning. Your females are resilient. They're no threat, Jack assured her. Just a few paranoid women. Zaravek turned those silver eyes to him. Do not underestimate them. Their minds are less easily influenced than yours. What would you have me do? Find their leaders. This Allison Mercer and Kate Donovan. Watch them. Jack nodded. His hand absently touched the back of his neck, where a small bump lay hidden under his hair. And when I find them, bring them to me. I wish to understand why they resist. 2 days later, Allison attended a diplomatic reception. It wasn't her usual scene, but she had received an invitation through NASA. The Luminari were unveiling new technology, a clean energy device that promised to revolutionize power generation. She wore a small earpiece that Paige had designed. It emitted a countering frequency that might offer some protection against the Luminari influence. So far, it seemed to work. She could look at the Luminari females without feeling the strange calm that others reported. The reception was held in a grand hotel ballroom. Crystal sculptures that mimicked the Luminari ships decorated the tables. Blue lights cast an otherworldly glow across the room. Allison moved through the crowd, listening, watching. Most of the attendees were men, politicians, scientists, military, officers. They all had the same look in their eyes when a Luminari female passed by, a mixture of awe and desire. Then she saw Jack Reeves. He was talking to a group of officials, but his eyes kept scanning the room. Allison turned away, but it was too late. He had seen her. Minutes later, he appeared at her side. Allison Mercer, it's been a while. She forced a smile. Commander Reeves, you're looking well. Jack, please, we're old friends, were they? They had worked together briefly during the first contact, but Allison wouldn't have called them friends. Are you enjoying the reception? He asked. It's interesting. The new energy technology seems promising. It's just the beginning, Jack said, his eyes bright with excitement. They have so much to share with us, Allison. Things you can't imagine. At what cost? She asked quietly. His smile faltered. What do you mean? You've changed, Jack. Everyone who works closely with them changes. He laughed, but it sounded hollow. For the better. I've seen things, Allison. The stars, other worlds. They can take us there. All we have to do is trust them. Allison noticed a Luminari female watching them from across the room. One of Zaravek's assistants. They're using you, Jack, she said, keeping her voice low. Whatever they've shown you, whatever they've promised, it comes with a price we can't afford to pay. His face hardened. You don't understand. You can't understand until you've experienced it. He reached for her arm, but she stepped back. Experienced what exactly? Being controlled? Having something implanted in your skull? Jack's hand flew to the back of his neck. Who told you about that? He hissed. So it's true, Allison said. What did they put in you, Jack? What are they taking from you? For a moment, something like fear flickered in his eyes. Then it was gone, replaced by that eerie calm. They're not taking, they're giving, sharing. It's beautiful, Allison. You should join us. Never. He smiled sadly. You will. One day. When you understand what's at stake. The Luminari female was moving toward them now. Allison knew she had to leave. Think for yourself, Jack, she pleaded. Remember who you were. As she turned to go, he caught her arm. They know about your meetings, he whispered. The resistance. They know about Kate. About Paige. Be careful. Then he released her and walked away, back straight, steps confident. But Allison had seen something in his eyes. A flash of the real. Jack fighting to get out. Outside, she called Kate on a secure line. "We've been compromised. They know about us." "How much do they know?" "I'm not sure, but we need to move our operation and warn everyone." "Already on it," Kate replied. Olivia convinced her brother to see Paige. "We might finally get some answers about those implants." "Good. I'll meet you there." As Allison hung up, she looked at the night sky. The luminary ships glowed against the darkness, beautiful and deadly. Whatever information they were gathering, whatever they were planning, time was running out to stop them. But for the first time in months, Allison felt a spark of hope. Jack's warning showed that the real person was still in there somewhere. If they could understand how the luminary control worked, maybe they could break it. And if they could break it, maybe they could save Earth before it was too late. 3 months passed since the luminary first came to Earth. Their crystal ships now hung in the sky above 12 major cities. At night, they glowed with soft blue light. During the day, they caught the sun and sent rainbows down to the streets below. Kate Donovan walked through those rainbow-colored streets in Washington, D.C. She worked for military intelligence. Her job was to notice things others missed, and lately, she had noticed a lot. She stopped at a coffee shop across from the Luminary Embassy. It was a good place to watch. She came here every day at the same time. Today, like all days, there was a line of people waiting to enter the embassy. Most of them were men. Kate sipped her coffee and made notes on her phone. The embassy guards were all men, too. They had a strange look in their eyes, distant, dreamy. They wore small crystal pins on their uniforms. The pins caught the light and sparkled. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her boss, General Samantha Wright. "Meeting. 1 hour. Bring your data." Kate took one last look at the embassy. A luminary female stood at the entrance. She was talking to a man in a business suit. He couldn't take his eyes off her. It was like watching someone fall in love at first sight, or get hypnotized. At the Pentagon, Kate sat in a small meeting room with General Wright and 3 other analysts. They all had different assignments watching the luminary. None of them liked what they saw. "Reports, please," General Wright said. "Keep it simple." A young analyst named Mason spoke first. "The luminary have started taking tours of our military bases. They're especially interested in our communication systems and defense networks." "Who approved that?" the general asked, frowning. "The State Department. The luminary offered to upgrade our systems. They said it was a goodwill gesture." The general made a note. "Go on." "There's something else," Mason said. "Men who work closely with the luminary start to change. They become, I don't know how to describe it, devoted, obsessed. They stop talking to their families. They work long hours at the embassy. Some of them disappear for days, then come back with no memory of where they've been." Kate nodded. She had seen the same pattern. "It's like they're being drugged, but there's no drug we can detect. It only affects men, not women." "That can't be right," another analyst said. "Men and women aren't that different biologically." "But we are different hormonally," Kate pointed out, "and the effect seems strongest on men between the ages of 20 and 50. General Wright turned to Kate. "What about the embassy itself? What have you observed?" Kate pulled up photos on her tablet. "The crystal structure isn't just for show. It captures and redirects sunlight. I've tracked interference patterns that match the location of our key satellite systems." She showed a map with red dots where the interference was strongest. "They're positioned over military installations, power grids, and communication hubs." "You think they're mapping our infrastructure?" the general asked. "I think they already have," Kate replied, "and I think they're doing something to our men. The luminary females, there's something about them that affects male brains." The room went quiet. What Kate was suggesting sounded crazy, but they had all seen enough to know something wasn't right. "They're not invading with weapons," Kate continued. "They're invading with fascination. The luminary females are like psychological weapons." General Wright sighed. "The president won't hear it. He had a meeting with their leader last week. What's her name?" "Commander Zarevex," Kate supplied. "Yes, her. He came back talking about a new era of peace and prosperity. He's approved their request for more embassies, 20 more cities. We need to talk to him directly, Kate insisted. And say what? That pretty blue alien women are brainwashing our men? Without proof, we sound paranoid. Before Kate could answer, alarms blared throughout the building. Red emergency lights flashed in the hallway. General Wright's phone rang. Her face went pale as she listened. There's been an incident at the Norfolk Naval Base, she said after hanging up. A security breach at the nuclear submarine facility. The fail-safes were overridden. The Luminari? Kate asked. They were there for a diplomatic tour. All the male security staff were found wandering around in a daze. The female staff tried to stop them, but they were outnumbered. Did they take anything? Mason asked. The general's voice was grim. Not physically, but they had access to our nuclear launch systems for 15 minutes. Enough time to copy everything. Kate thought about all the men she had seen entering the Luminari embassy. How many of them had access to government secrets, military information, scientific research? We need to act now, she said, before it's too late. The general shook her head. The president has ordered a full investigation, but he doesn't want to jump to conclusions or damage our new relationship. Then we act. Without him, Kate said quietly. The others stared at her. That's close to treason, Donovan, one of them warned. No, she replied. It's close to survival. That evening, Kate met with Allison Mercer at a small restaurant far from any Luminari embassy. They had connected through a secure channel after... Kate read Allison's classified report about the first contact. You were right, Kate said after they ordered. About the men being affected differently. It's happening everywhere. Allison looked tired. Dark circles showed under her eyes. Lily Martinez is still having episodes. She draws star maps of places we've never seen. Sometimes she speaks in a language that isn't human, and she's not the only one. We need to understand what's happening, Kate said. My department can't act officially, but we can gather information. I've started something, Allison admitted. A network of women who work near the Luminari. Scientists, security personnel, administrative staff. We share observations. That's exactly what we need, Kate said. A resistance. Allison looked uncomfortable with the word. I wouldn't go that far. We're just being careful. Being careful isn't enough anymore. Kate showed Allison the photos from the Norfolk base. They're accessing our most sensitive systems through the men who work there. And those men don't even realize they're being used. Allison's phone buzzed. She read the message and her face went white. It's happening, she whispered. Turn on the news. Kate pulled out her phone and found a news channel. The headline scrolled across the bottom of the screen. Breaking: President announces joint defense initiative with Luminari. The president stood at a podium with Commander Zarevex beside him. He looked happy, excited even. This historic partnership will revolutionize our defense capabilities, he was saying. The Luminari will help us upgrade our entire military infrastructure. My God, Kate whispered. They'll have access to everything. Zarevex stepped to the microphone. Her silver eyes seemed to look directly through the camera as if she could see everyone watching. We are honored by Earth's trust, she said, her melodic voice making even Kate feel strangely calm. We take only what is freely given. Your men offer their minds to us willingly. Is it our fault they find us so captivating? For a moment, the world seemed to stop. Had she really said that? So openly? But the press conference continued as if nothing unusual had happened. Did you hear that? Kate asked Allison. Yes. We take only what is freely given. They're not even hiding it anymore. Kate's phone buzzed with a message from General Wright. We need to talk, now. I have to go, Kate told Allison. But we need to expand your network. Fast. Find every woman who's noticed something wrong. Every woman who's worried about a husband or son or colleague who's changed after meeting the Luminari. What are we going to do? Allison asked. Kate looked at the TV where Zarevex was still speaking, her voice soothing, her silver eyes reflecting the camera lights. We're going to find out exactly what they're taking from us. and then we're going to stop them. As Kate left the restaurant, she glanced up at the night sky. The luminary ships glowed against the darkness, beautiful and terrible. Whatever they were, whatever they wanted, Kate was now sure of one thing: they had not come in peace. Paige Wilson's lab was hidden in the basement of an old hospital. The equipment was outdated, but it worked. Andy, Olivia's brother, sat nervously on an examination table. He kept looking at the door as if planning his escape. "It's just a brain scan," Paige assured him. "Nothing invasive." "I shouldn't be here," Andy said. "If they find out—" "Who? The Luminari?" Kate asked from her position by the door. Andy flinched at the name. "They trust me. I have responsibilities." "To them? Or to humanity?" Allison asked. Gently, he didn't answer. Paige placed a cap covered with sensors on his head. "This will map your brain activity. Just relax." Screens around the room lit up with colorful images of Andy's brain. Paige studied them with a frown. Increased activity in the pleasure centers. Decreased activity in areas associated with critical thinking and judgment. It's like a drug addiction, but more targeted. "Can you fix it?" Olivia asked, squeezing her brother's hand. "I don't know yet." "Andy, have you experienced any blackouts? Times you can't remember?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Just once. 3 days last week. I woke up in my apartment, but I don't remember going home." The women exchanged glances. "Can I check something?" Paige asked, moving behind him. "I need to look at the back of your neck." Andy stiffened. "Why?" "Please, it's important." After a moment he nodded. Paige gently moved his hair aside. There it was, a small, perfectly straight scar at the base of his skull. "What is it?" Andy asked, sensing her reaction. "There's a scar here. Did you have surgery recently?" "No, at least, I don't think so." Paige took a small scanner and held it over the scar. "There's something under the skin, some kind of device." Andy jumped off the table. "What? Get it out. Get it out of me." Olivia tried to calm him. "Andy, it's okay, we'll figure this out." "No, you don't understand. They put something in me. They're in my head." He clutched at his skull, eyes wild with fear. "We can remove it," Paige said, "but I need proper medical equipment, and I need to know exactly what it is first." Kate stepped forward. "Can you get a better scan of the device?" Paige nodded. "I'll need an MRI. There's one upstairs, but we'd need access." "I can arrange that," Maya said from the doorway. She had just arrived. "General Wright has authorized our use of this facility off the record." An hour later, Andy lay inside the MRI machine. The scan showed a small, complex device attached to his brainstem. "It's like nothing I've ever seen," Paige said, studying the images. "It has tendrils extending into different parts of the brain, memory centers, emotional processing, sensory areas." "What's it doing?" Kate asked. "I'm not sure. But based on these readings, it seems to be both receiving and transmitting." "Transmitting. What?" Allison asked. "Information, experiences, maybe even thoughts." Andy was sedated now, resting in a hospital bed. Olivia sat beside him. "Can you remove it?" she asked. Paige shook her head. "Not safely. Those tendrils are integrated with his neural pathways. Removing it could cause permanent damage." "So what do we do?" Kate asked. "I might be able to block the signal," Paige suggested. "If I can understand the frequency it's using, I could disrupt it." Allison remembered what Zarevex had said when Lily touched her. Physical contact allows for direct information transfer. Everything was starting to make sense. "They're collectors," she said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. "The Luminari. They collect experiences. That's why they're so interested in us. That's what they're taking through these devices." "But why?" Maya asked. "I don't know. Maybe they can't experience things the way we do. Maybe they've lost something. But I think that's why the men who work with them change. They're being drained somehow." The women were silent, processing this theory. It fit with everything they had observed. We need to talk to someone who's been through the full process, Kate said finally. Someone who's had the device longer. Jack Reeves, Allison suggested. He warned me at the reception. Part of him is still fighting their influence. How? Do we get to him? He's surrounded by Luminari security. Leave that to me, Maya said. I still have access to some military resources. 2 days later, they had their chance. Jack was scheduled to visit a military research facility. Maya arranged for his car to be intercepted en route. It wasn't a kidnapping, she insisted. Just a detour. Jack sat in the same examination room where they had tested Andy. Unlike Andy, he was furious. You have no right to hold me here, he snapped. This is treason. We're trying to help you, Jack, Allison said. I don't need help. I need to get back to my duties. Your duties to Earth or to the Luminari? Kate asked. Jack glared at her. They're the same thing. The Luminari are our path to the stars. Page's scans showed the same device in Jack's brain but more integrated, with more tendrils reaching deeper into his neural pathways. How long have you had the implant, Jack? Page asked. What implant? The one in your skull. The one they put there when you disappeared for 3 days. Jack's hand went to the back of his neck. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Part of you knows exactly what they did to you. His face twisted with confusion. They gave me a gift. The ability to see... To see what, Jack? Allison asked gently. The universe. Through their eyes. It's beautiful. And in return, what do they take from you? Jack's eyes unfocused. Experiences, emotions, the taste of food, the feel of rain, the sound of music. They can't experience things the way we do, Allison finished. So, they use us as their sensors. Jack nodded slowly. We give them what they lack. They give us what we lack. It's a fair exchange. Is it? Did you consent to having a device implanted in your brain? Jack's face clouded. I don't remember. That's because they took that memory from you, Kate said. They took your choice away. For a moment, doubt flickered in Jack's eyes. Then it was gone, replaced by that eerie calm. You don't understand. You can't understand until you join with them. I think we understand more than you realize, Paige said. She showed him the scans of his brain, pointing out the device and its tendrils. This is what they put in you, Jack. It's sending your experiences back to them. It's changing your thinking. Jack stared at the images. His hands trembled slightly. No, it's not possible. They would have told me. Would they? Or do they just take what they want? Jack's breathing became rapid. Sweat beaded on his forehead. I need to go back. They're waiting for me. The device is making you feel that way, Paige explained. It's like withdrawal from a drug. Please, Jack begged. Let me go. I need to see them. Allison knelt beside his chair. Jack, listen to me. Remember who you were, a pilot, an explorer, a man who made his own choices. Something flickered in his eyes. Recognition, memory. Allison, he whispered. What's happening to me? The Luminari have been using you, using all of us. We need your help to stop them. For a brief moment, the real Jack Reeves looked out from those eyes. The fleet, he gasped. More coming. Thousands of ships. They've done this before. Other worlds. They take what they want, then move on. Then his eyes rolled back and he collapsed in the chair. Alarms blared from Paige's equipment. He's seizing, she shouted. The implant is reacting to his resistance. They rushed to stabilize him. When Jack regained consciousness an hour later, he was once again the calm, devoted servant of the Luminari. You have to let me go, he said coldly. They will find me, and they will not be pleased with what you've done. They had no choice but to release him. Maya arranged for him to be dropped off near the research facility, with a gap in his memory, about where he had been. Back at their hideout, the women processed what they had learned. At least we know what they're doing now, Kate said. They're harvesting human experiences. And more ships are coming, Allison added. Thousands, Jack said. We need to go public with this, Maya suggested. Show people the scans, the evidence. Who would believe us? Paige asked. Most of the men in power are already under their influence, and the devices are too well hidden for a casual scan to detect. Allison thought about what Jack had said. They've done this before. Other worlds. An idea was forming. Lily, she said suddenly. She received a massive data transfer when she touched Zaravex. What if that included information about these other worlds? About what the Luminari really are? It's worth a try, Kate agreed. But Lily can barely communicate coherently. Maybe not verbally. But she draws those star maps. Maybe she could draw what she knows about the Luminari. They found Lily in the safe house where they had moved her. She sat by a window staring at the sky. She looked thin, pale, but her eyes were alert. Lily, Allison said softly, we need your help. Lily turned those knowing eyes to her. You've seen it now. The truth. Not all of it. We need you to show us what you saw when you touched Zaravex. Lily smiled sadly. They're not what they appear to be. The blue skin, the silver eyes, it's just an interface. Designed to appeal to us, to make us trust them. What are they really? Lily took a pen and began to draw on a pad of paper. The image that emerged was strange, a swirling, cloud-like form with tendrils extending outward. A collective, she explained. Not individuals like us. A hive mind that evolved beyond physical sensation. They lost something in the process, the ability to feel, to experience the world directly. So they travel, finding species that can give them what they tuck them through the implants, Kate said. Allison stood at the window of their new hideout, watching the Luminari ships glow in the night sky. In the month since they had discovered the truth, things had gotten worse. More ships had arrived. More men had disappeared for their 3-day procedures. The president had signed an agreement giving the Luminari access to Earth's most powerful supercomputers, but the resistance had grown too. Women from around the world had joined their network. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, all working together, in secret. It's ready, Paige announced, entering the room with Kate and Maya. They gathered around a table where a strange device sat. It looked like a satellite dish attached to a computer. Will it work? Allison asked. In theory, Paige replied. It generates the same counter frequency as our personal shields, but on a much larger scale. It should disrupt the Luminari's influence and block the signals from the implants. How large is the range? Maya asked. About 5 miles with this prototype. But we've sent the plans to resistance cells around the world. If we all activate at the same time, we can cover major population centers. And the rest of the planet? Kate asked. We'll need something bigger for that, Paige admitted. Something that can transmit globally. They all knew what that meant. The only global transmission system powerful enough was on the main Luminari ship, Commander Zaravex's vessel. We need to get on that ship, Allison said. We need to use their own technology against them. That's suicide, Maya protested. Their security is impenetrable. Not for everyone, Allison said quietly. I still have my NASA credentials. I could request a meeting with Zaravex. Scientific exchange was part of the original agreement. They'll know you're with the resistance, Kate warned. Maybe, but they're curious by nature. Zaravex might agree just to understand why I resist. It's too dangerous, Maya insisted. Do we have another choice? Allison asked. The fleet Lily warned us about could arrive any day. We need to act now. After much debate, they agreed. Allison would try to get on the ship. Kate would coordinate the ground teams to activate their devices simultaneously. If Allison could access the Luminari's transmission system, they might be able to broadcast the counter-frequency worldwide. The next day, Allison sent her request through official channels. To everyone's surprise, Zaravex agreed almost immediately. She's curious about you, Jack Reeves told Allison when he called to confirm the meeting. She finds your resistance fascinating. There was something strange in his voice. A hint of the real Jack trying to send a message. "When do we leave?" Allison asked. "Tomorrow morning. Just you. No equipment, no weapons. They'll scan you before you board." "I understand." After the call ended, Allison turned to Paige. "We need a version of the device they won't detect." Paige worked through the night. By morning, she had modified a small crystal pendant, similar to the ones the Luminari wore. Inside was a miniature version of their counter-frequency generator. "It won't disrupt their whole ship," Paige explained, "but it should protect you from their influence and interfere with any devices nearby. If you can get to their main transmission..." "Array, I'll find a way," Allison promised. They said their goodbyes. No one knew if Allison would return. Kate handed her a small capsule. "Last resort," she said grimly. "If they try to implant you." Allison understood. Better death than becoming a mindless drone. The next morning, a Luminari shuttle docked at a private airfield. Jack Reeves waited beside it. He looked the same as always, confident, calm, devoted. But when he shook Allison's hand, he pressed something small into her palm. "For luck," he said loudly. His eyes told a different story. "Be careful." The shuttle ride was silent. Jack sat across from her, watching her with those eerily calm eyes. The small object he had given her was a data chip. She kept it hidden in her hand. The main Luminari ship was even more beautiful up close. It shimmered like a diamond in the sunlight, changing colors as they approached. Inside, it was a maze of crystal corridors that seemed to shift and move. "This way," Jack said, leading her deeper into the ship. "The commander is waiting." Allison touched the pendant around her neck, drawing comfort from its presence. The device inside was working. She could still think clearly, still focus on her mission. Zarovex waited in a large chamber at the heart of the ship. The walls pulsed with light, creating patterns that made Allison dizzy if she looked too long. The commander stood by a window that showed Earth below. Beautiful, vulnerable. "Allison Mercer," Zarovex said, turning those silver eyes toward her. "I have been eager to meet you again." "Commander," Allison replied, keeping her voice steady. "You may leave us, Jack," Zarovex ordered. Jack hesitated, then bowed slightly and left the room. As the door closed behind him, Zarovex moved closer to Allison. "You resist our influence," she observed. "Few humans can do that." "Perhaps I'm not as easily fascinated." The alien smiled. "Or perhaps you are using some kind of shield." Her eyes flicked to the pendant. "Clever. Your Dr. Wilson has been busy." Allison felt a chill. They knew about Paige. "Why did you agree to see me?" she asked. "Curiosity. You and your resistance have been an unexpected challenge. I wish to understand why." "We resist because you're taking without permission. You're changing people against their will." Zarovex tilted her head. "Is it against their will if they desire it? The men come to us willingly. They find us irresistible. Because you designed yourselves that way. You manipulate them, as you manipulate with your words and ideas. Influence is the currency of all intelligent species." Allison stepped closer, to the window. Below, Earth turned slowly. She needed to find the transmission array. "What do you want from us?" "Really?" Zarovex joined her at the window. "You already know. Your Dr. Martinez received enough information to understand. You harvest experiences, emotions, sensations. Yes, we evolved beyond physical form long ago. It brought us great knowledge, but at a cost. We lost the ability to feel the world directly, to taste, to touch, to desire." She turned those reflective eyes to Allison. "Have you ever lost a sense, Allison Mercer? Imagine losing all of them. Imagine knowing the universe but never feeling it." For a moment, Allison almost felt sympathy. Almost. "So you use us instead. You take our experiences without consent. We preserve what would otherwise be lost to time. The civilizations we visit eventually fade, but through us parts of them live forever." "That's not your decision to make," Allison argued. "Experiences are meant to be lived. not collected. Zaravek smiled. An interesting philosophy, but short-sighted. All experiences end with death. We offer a kind of immortality. As they spoke, Allison scanned the room for anything that might be a transmission array. There, at the center of the chamber, a crystal structure larger than the others pulsing with blue light. "What happens to the people you implant?" she asked, moving casually toward the structure. "They serve their purpose," Zaravek replied. "They provide us with new experiences, new sensations. When we have collected enough, we move on, and leave them broken." The alien's face showed no remorse. A small price for the knowledge they help preserve. Not to them, not to us. Allison was close to the crystal structure now. Jack's data chip burned in her palm. Somehow he had known what she would need. If this was the transmission array, the chip might allow her to interface with it. "Your fleet is coming," she said. "Thousands of ships. How many humans do you plan to harvest?" "As many as necessary. Your species has such vivid emotions, such intense experiences. You will be one of our most valuable collections. We're not artifacts for your museum." Zaravek moved with inhuman speed, suddenly directly in front of Allison. "You misunderstand our purpose. We preserve experiences that would otherwise be lost to time. The civilizations we visit eventually fade, but through us, parts of them live forever." Allison held her ground. "Not your decision to make," she repeated. "Experiences are meant to be lived, not collected." The alien studied her face. "You are different from the others, stronger. You would make an excellent addition to our collection." She reached out a blue hand. "Join us willingly. See the universe through our consciousness. The price of touching us doesn't have to be submission. It could be transcendence." For a moment, Allison hesitated. The offer was tempting. Knowledge beyond human comprehension, experiences across galaxies and time. But then she thought of Earth, of free will, of experiences that belong to those who lived them. "The price is too high," she said, and lunged past Zaravek toward the crystal structure. The alien moved to stop her, but Allison was ready. She activated the pendant, increasing its power. Zaravek stumbled, her movements suddenly less fluid, less certain. Allison reached the crystal structure and pressed Jack's data chip against its surface. The chip melded with the crystal, disappearing into it. The structure began to pulse faster, changing from blue to red. "What have you done?" Zaravek demanded, her melodic voice now strained. "Given humanity a fighting chance," Allison replied. Across the globe, the resistance activated their devices. The counter-frequency spread through cities and towns, breaking the luminaries' hold on human minds. And now, with Jack's help, Allison had connected to their global network. Alarms blared throughout the ship. The crystal walls pulsed with angry red light. "You cannot stop us," Zaravek said, regaining her composure. "We are millions strong. We have done this for millennia. Maybe, but not here, not to us." Allison Mercer sat at her desk in NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Division. The clock on the wall showed 4:30 in the morning. Most people were still asleep, but not Allison. She had worked here for 10 years. Her job was to watch the stars and listen for signals. This morning started like any other. Allison sipped her coffee and checked the monitors. Then something changed. A light appeared on her screen that shouldn't be there. "That's strange," she said to herself. The light grew brighter. It moved in a way that no natural object would move. Allison picked up her phone and called her boss. "Sir, I think you need to see this." Within an hour, the room filled with people. They all stared at the screens as a large object entered Earth's orbit. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. The object was made of what looked like crystal. It shimmered and changed colors as it moved through space. "What is it?" someone asked. "Not one of ours," another replied. Allison's computer beeped. "We're receiving a transmission," she announced. Everyone went quiet. The message wasn't in any human language. It was a series of mathematical sequences. Allison and her team worked for hours to understand it. Finally, they realized it was an invitation. 3 days later, Allison found herself on the International Space Station with 4 other specialists. NASA had sent them to meet whoever or whatever had arrived. A small shuttle left the crystal ship and docked with the station. The team gathered near the airlock, hearts racing. The door opened. She was not what they expected. The visitor looked almost human, but with key differences. Her skin was blue and shimmered with tiny points of light like stars trapped under glass. She had 3 eyes, all the color of liquid silver. They reflected everything around them but showed nothing of what was behind them. She moved with a grace that seemed impossible in the station's artificial gravity. "I am Commander Zarevex of the Luminari," she said in perfect English. Her voice was like music. "We have come to learn about your world." Allison stepped forward. As the communications specialist, it was her job to speak first. "I'm Allison Mercer. We welcome you to Earth's orbit." Zarevex smiled. It was a small movement of her lips, but it changed her whole face. "Your species has been observed for some time," she said. "We find you fascinating." Allison noticed something odd. The men in her team couldn't look away from Zarevex. They stared at her with wide eyes and slack mouths. Even Dr. Bennett, who was usually so professional, seemed hypnotized. "We have brought gifts," Zarevex continued. "Knowledge, technology. We wish to establish relations with your world." "That's very generous," Allison replied, trying to keep her voice steady. Something about this visitor made her uneasy, though she couldn't say why. "Our leaders are eager to speak with you." Zarevex moved around the room, examining the station's equipment. The men's eyes followed her every movement. "Your technology is primitive but promising. There is much we can teach you." Dr. Lily Martinez, the team's biologist, stepped closer to the visitor. Her scientific curiosity was clearly overwhelming her caution. "Your biological structure is remarkable," she said. "The bioluminescence in your skin, is it natural or technological?" The alien turned those silver eyes to Lily. "Both and neither," she replied with another small smile. "You may study us as we study you. Stare as much as you like, human, but touching me comes with a price." Lily didn't seem to hear the warning. She reached out her hand, fingers stretching toward Zarevex's arm. "Lily, wait!" Allison started to say, but it was too late. Lily's fingers brushed against the blue skin. The effect was immediate. Lily's eyes rolled back and she collapsed to the floor. Her body shook as if she were having a seizure. "What did you do to her?" Allison demanded, rushing to her colleague. Zarevex looked down at Lily with what might have been pity. "I warned her. Physical contact allows for direct information transfer. Her mind is processing more data than it was designed to handle. She will recover, though she may not be the same." The men still didn't move. They kept staring at Zarevex as if nothing had happened. "Dr. Campbell, help me with Lily," Allison said sharply to the team's medical doctor. He blinked slowly, then seemed to wake from a trance. He knelt beside Lily and checked her vital signs. "She's stable," he said after a moment, "but her brain activity is off the charts." Zarevex walked to the station's window and looked down at Earth. "A beautiful world," she said. "We look forward to learning all about it." Something in her tone made Allison shiver. "And what will you share with us in return?" she asked. The alien turned those reflective eyes to her. For a second, Allison thought she saw something cold and calculating behind the silver. "Everything you are ready for," Zarevex replied, "and nothing you are not." In the days that followed, more Luminari arrived. They met with world leaders and scientists. They promised clean energy, medical breakthroughs, and even the stars themselves. Humanity welcomed them with open arms and endless questions. But Allison couldn't forget what had happened to Lily. Her colleague had woken up after 12 hours. She could speak and move, but something was different. She would stare into space for long periods. Sometimes she would draw strange symbols or star maps of places no human telescope had ever seen. "They're not telling us everything," Allison said to her boss one night. "There's something about the way the men react to them. It's like they're entranced." They're aliens, Allison. Of course people stare. No, it's more than that. Haven't you noticed? Women seem to be able to look away. Men can't. Her boss laughed. Maybe they're just prettier than us. But Allison couldn't shake her worry. As the Luminari established their embassies around the world, as they shared their gifts and knowledge, she kept watching and waiting, because she had seen something in those silver eyes when Lily fell. Not surprise, not concern, satisfaction. Stare. As much as you like, Zarevex had said. But Allison was beginning to think that maybe the Luminari were the ones doing the real staring, and whatever they saw in humanity, they wanted it for themselves.